Our experiences, good or bad, shape the way we move through our lives. They inform the decisions we make, the chances we take, and the opportunities we miss. For those who've experienced trauma or loss, the lasting effects can be debilitating and life-altering.
Pretty much all the mental health professionals now have identified trauma and loss as one of the primary contributors to mental health problems. It can happen in a minute, but the effects can last for months or years. People will restrict their activities trying to protect themselves and keep the bad thing from happening again. I worked with a young man who told me, I gotta catch a buzz just to get to sleep, otherwise I think about what happened for hours and hours every night. Until fairly recently, if somebody had a major traumatic event, the word on the street was, okay, you're damaged for life. We can now say, hey, if you do the work, you can heal reliably, efficiently, not 100% guarantee, but most of the time, yeah.
Therapy for trauma and loss can go on for months or years with only limited improvement. Even with therapists who are trained in the healing approach, getting there can take a long time. And meanwhile, the problems continue. Dr. Ricky Greenwald has worked with children, teens, families, and adults since 1985, and over his decades of experience has developed an efficient, effective, and quick method to get the healing done and reduce or eliminate the problems associated with trauma and loss.
There's nothing about the trauma healing methods that says you have to chop it up into little pieces once a week. Nothing. We work with a client all day, every day for several days in a row, and they get more or less a year's worth of therapy done in a few days. Sometimes the stakes are pretty high. We've helped people not have to drop out of college. We've helped people not have to lose their job. We've helped people keep their families.
EMDR stands for Eye Movement Desensitization Reprocessing Therapy. EMDR starts by really activating the trauma memory in a client's neural network. Once that memory is really activated, we move into bilateral stimulation. Bilateral stimulation can be eye movements, it can be butterfly tapping. It helps them to stay grounded in the present moment, so they don't get flooded by everything that's associated with this trauma memory. The client is able to bring in new perspectives, new understandings to the traumatic experience, adaptive, corrective information that allows the memory to be fully digested and processed so that it no longer has the emotional charge that it used to.
Progressive counting is another exposure method. You're counting while the client is running a movie in their mind from before the traumatic event happened till it's really over. The clinician counts 1 to 10, then 1 to 20, then 1 to 30, sort of opening it up like an accordion. It's easy for clients to wrap their head around. Great for kids, great for working with people on specific memories. They realize I'm in control of this memory. I can run it really fast, or I can run it at a different speed. And that kind of breaks the spell.
So I struggle with pretty intense depression. There's a pretty big gap between the work I do in the world and how I feel internally about it. The trauma that I experienced was primarily about my relationship with my primary caregiver. I started seeking relief at 18, and now I'm 49, so a pretty long time. And I've been in lots of kinds of therapy and used medication, but I had not yet tried EMDR or progressive counting. Spending that amount of time processing trauma from my childhood, I had a level of confidence and power that was higher than before I began, after I felt like there was more space for me to breathe and move about without the heaviness taking up so much space.
Alia is one of countless clients who have experienced life-changing results after just a few days of the intensive trauma-focused therapies found here at Dr. Greenwald's Trauma Institute and Child Trauma Institute. As the leader in developing and disseminating intensives, TICTI is widely known for its highly qualified therapists and trainers. so that clients and clinicians alike can benefit from the Institute's experienced staff.
It's been extremely exciting for me. This is something that I'm incredibly passionate about, and I think that these are some of the best methods out there for really helping someone to process and digest a trauma fully. The more we can talk about this stuff and talk about how useful and beautiful these techniques are, that more therapists will offer them to their clients.
By now, there are hundreds of people, hundreds in this country offering intensives. When I started to do it, there were 3 of us. My mission is to help people heal from what's hurting them, psychologically speaking, so they can live their best lives. We do this by making therapy for trauma and loss as effective as possible, as efficient as possible, as well tolerated as possible, and as quick as possible. That's what we're doing with these intensives. And we not only provide them to clients, we're involved with developing the methodology. We research and publish in professional journals. We train other therapists. I just want to get this out to where people can get what they need, get the help they need, overcome the problem, and move on with their lives at a better level.
To learn more, visit TICTI.org today.